All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob at Smirking Gun Reviews. Welcome to the heavily medicated episode of Better Call Saul today. Yes, I am still pretty ill, and we are going to push through, though, and get a great review, hopefully, up for this episode. It is Better Call Saul, Season 4, Episode 5. It's called Quite a Ride, and for Breaking Bad fans, this is like, the freaking Easter egg of Easter egg episodes. I mean, this is fan service. I shouldn't say Easter eggs. This is some fan service up in this place right now. It's not a bad thing. And what I have to convince myself is that this is it's called Better Call Saul. It's about Jimmy McGill, how he becomes Saul. But it is also about, all the stuff leading up to Breaking Bad. And that's not bad. I love it. But for some reason, I just want more of Jimmy's story than the Breaking Bad stuff, because it's like I already know, since I know where the story goes. But it doesn't change the fact that it's still really good and really well acted. But to get things started, I gotta make a confession that means nothing to anybody except for those hardcore fans that are like, can't believe I didn't catch this or something, but I just realized in this episode, and I'm medicated as hell, I shouldn't have caught this. If I hadn't caught it by now, how am I catching it, noticing now? But I hate to say this. Jesus. Okay. So I just realized that Francesca, Tina Parker, the lady who plays Francesca, the secretary that Kim and Jimmy hired way back, is the same Francesca that Saul had. I'm a terrible fan. I can't believe that it took me this long to see her in this and go, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, he always had her as a secretary. She's been around forever. So at least we know now, or at least I know now, that somebody from Jimmy's past is with him as Saul Goodman. Did not fucking know that, and I am sorry to any fans that were out there. Oh, brother. So, now that I've said that, this will be full of spoilers. So yes, another good episode, but kind of really another filler episode. But like I've said before, filler episodes on this give you lots of character, and that's one of the great things about this show. So yes, for all the Breaking Bad fans, and for other people that don't know Breaking Bad, they probably had no goddamn idea what was going on at the beginning of this episode. So for all of us, yeah, and like I said, spoilers, we finally get to see, okay, so anybody that's like, oh, we finally get to see Saul on Better Call Saul, I'm not counting this. This is a flash forward. This is a memory, okay? This is not, I would count to this if Jimmy was Saul in this episode. But this is a flash forward, so it doesn't really count. But it's still fun fan service. We get to finally see the scene of what happened when all the shit was going down on Breaking Bad and Saul needed to get out of town. How did he get to, when we just see him with Robert Forster's character in Breaking Bad, the guy that basically gets people out of town and changes their identities. We find out, how he was in his office, how he got to that point. I just love them, as soon as I saw the open drawer and with the cell phones, I was like, oh shit, we're in Breaking Bad times. And we were, and I thought maybe I was going to be wrong, but no, we're here. It's Saul in all his glory, with Francesca shredding papers and him frantically trying to, collect everything that he can out of his office before he goes on the run forever. I don't really know how much this has to do with what's going on currently, except for the cell phones. If somebody else out there who's not on two different kinds of medication could tell me, that seems to be it. Does this have to tie in with his cell phone thing? Because yeah, he just always breaks them. But it is good to see this scene in there, him calling the place up. But again, to me, as of right now, it's just kind of fan servicey, which is fine. It's all well done. It's great to see little pieces here and there. But for the main story, we've got three things going on. We've got Mike and the laundromat. We've got Kim and doing her public defending. And we've got Jimmy at the cell phone place. So let's just talk about the Mike and the laundromat first, because it's the most, again, fan servicey. Doesn't really do anything for the story except show more, of how Gus and Mike were building their empire. That's all this is. This is not, really part of Better Call Saul. This is like the, the Breaking Bad parts of this show. And it's interesting because it shows, again, the detail and the care that Gus Fring puts into everything. You think this guy that they bring in is going to be, it's a big deal doing all this. And it also shows how much money Gus is willing to bring in or spend to make his plans come true. But also the perfectionist, in him that won't just... he won't just show up for anybody. So like this first guy who they fly out from another country comes out there and they just basically, chuck him. They don't like what he has to say. They don't like what he thinks. Boom, gone. See ya. Hood back on, and you're back at the airport. And so with the second guy, the German, he actually shows up. It's like he's already paying attention. He's close by. He could be there in a moment's notice. But he does like what this guy has to say. So it's the beginning of that whole thing of what happens on Breaking Bad, the laundromat and the thing and everything. And that's it. It's fine. It's always fun to watch these kind of scenes happen, but they're kind of like, again, they don't really further the story of Better Call Saul. They just add a little extra dimension to when you watch Breaking Bad. Next up, we have Kim's storyline. Kim's storyline is really, really great. And again, just showing how Rhea Seehorn's acting abilities has just been so on point this year, all the time, but really showcasing this year how great she is, and how seriously she's taking public defending. She's trying to get, that feeling back, like about the law, the things that have gone on with the Chuck situation. I really love how that smug kid, that she got off the hook, how she was able to, he's kind of looking at her like, whatever, and how she's able to get into his head, how she's over at that girl's house and trying to convince her to go to court. And, just because, if you don't do this, it's going to follow your whole life. But doing all this has now screwed up Mesa Verde. And so she hangs up on her client, and that was just like, woo. So, Kim is still really messed up. So messed up that she's hanging up on her only client, really, that's supposed to matter. And they notice. They've been noticing for a little while, so Kim's got to get her head straight. And then we have Jimmy. And now, the only other thing that connects the beginning to this also is just how much, the more time he has on his hands, the more he's becoming like Saul, the more that he's becoming from slipping Jimmy to the whole other character like Saul is. With the cell phones. Now, I was wrong last week. I like to thank the commenter who pointed out that, Ira gave him the idea for doing, the sign on the door. And that's great. I still kind of thought at the time that maybe he was just trying to do something so big that, if anybody noticed, he'd get fired. But no, he's got a plan. He does want to just hide out in this place until, the 10 months is up and he can become a lawyer again. And so once he gets the idea and he starts selling, and scamming about what you can, do with these cell phones and, privacy and wanting to avoid the IRS and who knows what else, he's realizing that people are going to be fooled into buying these phones, these burner phones that now, become pretty famous in the drug communities. And And then like how he just slowly tries other ways to do it, and he can't even sit in the house. He just like has to keep going. So he gets in his car, he buys all those cell phones, and like tries to sell them on the street to those punks, and they call him a narc and everything, which is so like, that was cheesy, but like in the best possible, like, hey, narc. Like, I don't even remember like ever really using that term when I was their age in that time period. I think we just used it privately. I don't think anybody would ever like walk down the street going, hey, narc. But I'm sure there were people that did. It's just not us, the people I hung out with. So then he goes and he looks for, I thought he was going to bust out one of his great suits. But no, I should have remembered the trailer from last week where he looks like a 50-year-old Beastie Boy, like walking down the street, selling cell phones. Okay, so the doghouse is also in Breaking Bad. It's where Jesse Pinkman likes to eat and stuff. I did find it kind of strange that he basically sold all the just about all the phones to everybody that was at that place at that time. Like, there were enough people for him to just sell to each individual person. So he had gave each individual person a spiel, and because if you look at the end of the scene, all those people he sold were all there. So some of them would have had to have overheard the spiel that he was giving, right? I mean, and I'm sure that he tailor makes each conversation to fit the person that he's talking to, but I don't know. It's kind of a stretch that he would sell phones to everyone there, just about. It kind of seems like he did, but suspension of disbelief, a little bit. You allow things like this to kind of happen. And then with the bikers, where he's feels a little intimidated, but he got to do it, and he finds a way, just being able to talk and make it, something that they can understand with their ink, and, talking to people in jail, assuming they were in jail, I guess, or have friends in jail, selling those cell phones. But then, when he's seeing those kids, you knew this, I had a feeling this wasn't going to go well. As soon as they walked up to him, he thought that he could just tell them to fuck off, but no, they take him, they beat him up and they take his money, which I think will basically be how he learns if he's going to do something like this, he's going to need protection. And this is, I think, where we'll eventually see the Huels, or, the, what's his name that also was on Breaking Bad, that has his Bill Burr. I think that's the comedian's name that was the other sidekick, or not sidekick, but kind of bodyguard, one of his henchmen in Breaking Bad. I think this is where you're going to start seeing maybe him have a little protection, somebody watching his back if he's going to pull stuff like this. But he also does admit that, what's he doing? Why is he out there? He's trying to be better than this, and so maybe he will see a shrink. But then when he sees Howard, and oh man, poor Howard. This is the 4th season. We have never seen Howard look this broken, this disheveled. This is not the Howard Hamlin that started out this show. This isn't the Howard Hamlin at the beginning of this season, even after, during Chuck's death. Howard has fallen quite low. And he's seeing a shrink, and twice a week, I think he said. And, it's clearly not helping. And Jimmy sees that. And so it's if they can't help Howard, how are they going to help me, old Jimmy McGill, get better and stuff. So I don't know. That was really kind of rough. I feel bad for Howard. I really do. I mean, it's amazing how you can feel one way about a character, and now all the way here, you can have different feelings for them, because it's all about context and everything. So in the context, knowing that, Howard really never had it out for Jimmy, it feels bad, that all this is coming down and Jimmy not really being, kind of there for him. But I think that's about it. It's a good episode, but, like I said, it's kind of filler. If I'm forgetting anything, I'm going to blame the medication. But a great, solid episode, even though the fan service is a kind of a lot in here. But again, I just have to keep reminding myself that it is running pretty close to Breaking Bad time in here and stuff. So, and basically I keep saying words like that. Medication. So I better stop before I ramble on too much longer. So if you like this video and my inability to keep my wallpaper up straight, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications on my videos. Like I said, I have a passion for Better Call Saul that I just don't feel like other people have, and same as like with Breaking Bad. So this is the video to watch if you really want to see a fan go nuts on these reviews, for the most part, and be honest with you too. So, anyway, this is Rob at Smirking Gun Reviews saying thank you for watching this review, and we will see you on the next one. Have a great night. Bye.